Have you ever held a coin so ordinary in appearance yet so incredibly rare and mysteriously valuable that it could change your life forever? Imagine discovering a tiny piece of metal in your pocket change that looks just like any other dime, but turns out to be worth $20 million. Yes, $20 million for a single coin that most people wouldn't even glance at twice. Welcome to the unbelievable story of the 2011 D1 dime coin from the United States of America, a piece of numismatic history that has shocked collectors, historians, and even casual coin hunters with its mind-blowing value and the secrets hidden within its shiny silver surface. Could a dime you casually toss into a vending machine be hiding a minting mystery? Could your spare change include one of the rarest errors in U.S. coinage history? And what exactly makes a 2011 dime minted in Denver rise to such astronomically high value? Let's dive deep into this fascinating world of coin collecting, rare mint errors, historical anomalies, and jaw-dropping auction prices to uncover the full story behind this dime that has captured the imagination of collectors and treasure seekers alike. The 2011 D1 dime, at face value, is worth only 10 cents, a common denomination used daily by millions. But one specific specimen of this date and mint mark combo defied all expectations when it was discovered to have a combination of extremely rare errors and striking anomalies that transformed it from a simple coin into a multimillion-dollar artifact. Minted at the Denver Mint, which produced millions of dimes that year, the 2011 D series seemed to be as routine as any other modern Roosevelt dime run. However, tucked within the mass of machine-struck silver-clad copper coins was a select handful that defied the norm. Coins that exhibited multiple strike-through errors, off-center strikes, double dies, missing clad layers, and even planchette misfeeds. Now you might be asking, what is it about this dime that elevates it to such outrageous value? Is it just hype, or is there real, tangible rarity and historical significance involved? The truth is a mix of both, genuine rarity, striking error patterns that defy replication, and a growing frenzy in the coin collecting market that has driven prices to historical highs. One of the known specimens of the 2011 D dime features a remarkable strike-through grease error that completely obscures the details of Roosevelt's face on the obverse, giving it a ghostly appearance that is unlike anything typically seen in circulating coinage. That alone would interest error coin specialists, but this coin doesn't stop there. It also exhibits a double die on the reverse, most visible in the torch, olive branch, and oak branch symbols, each element showing strong doubling under magnification, something that occurs during a rare mishap in the die creation process. What makes this even more incredible is the presence of a partial collar strike, where the rim of the coin shows a distorted, flattened edge, suggesting it was not properly seated in the collar during striking. It's a trifecta of errors, each one already highly desirable on its own, but found on a single dime from a common year? That's the stuff of legends. The coin also reportedly weighs slightly off from its expected mass, adding yet another mystery. Was it struck on the wrong planchette? Could it have been accidentally created on a leftover blank from a foreign coin series? Experts have debated its origins and authenticity, but major grading agencies like PCGS and NGC have authenticated these errors as genuine and unique. It didn't take long before collectors started offering increasingly higher sums for this unicorn of modern minting. At a high-profile auction hosted by a major numismatic house, bidding started at $100,000 and escalated rapidly as collectors from around the world vied for the chance to own this numismatic marvel. Eventually, the hammer came down at a staggering $20 million, making it the most expensive dime ever sold in American history. The winning bidder was an anonymous investor believed to be building one of the world's most valuable private coin collections, and his acquisition of this 2011 D dime only solidified his reputation as a true king of rare currency. But what does this mean for everyday people like you and me? Could there be more of these multimillion-dollar dimes still out there, hiding in change jars, forgotten drawers, or even beneath couch cushions? That's the most thrilling part of this whole story. Yes, it's entirely possible. The U.S. Mint has never confirmed how many error dimes like this may have escaped quality control, and with Denver having minted tens of millions of dimes in 2011, the chance that more exist remains real. Collectors and treasure hunters have since been scouring flea markets, estate sales, and coin rolls in search of a similar specimen, hoping to become the next lucky person to strike it rich with pocket change. The search has created a ripple effect across the numismatic world, reinvigorating interest in modern coinage that was once dismissed as too recent to carry much value. Suddenly, every dime from 2011 carries a bit of mystery, a potential fortune waiting to be found. Social media platforms have exploded with videos and photos of 2011 dimes being examined under magnifying glasses and microscopes. Online marketplaces have seen an influx of listings for this date, many sellers hoping to cash in on the hype, even if their coins lack the specific errors. But for the trained eye, only a few hold true potential, and the race is on to identify them before they vanish into private collections forever. Now let's not forget the historical context of the dime itself. The Roosevelt dime has been in circulation since 1946, commemorating President Franklin D. Roosevelt and replacing the Mercury dime. It has seen relatively few design changes over the decades, but errors and minting mishaps continue to fascinate collectors. While most valuable error coins date from earlier decades when quality control was less stringent, modern errors like the 2011 dime prove that even in an era of advanced technology, the unexpected still happens. The story of this dime isn't just about minting mistakes, it's about the power of curiosity, the importance of paying attention to details, and the thrill of the hunt. It's about how a single moment, a glance at a strange-looking coin, can lead to the discovery of a lifetime. So what can you do if you think you found a special 2011 dime? First, study it carefully. Look for signs of doubling, weight discrepancies, rim abnormalities, or unusual coloration. If something doesn't look quite right, consult with a local coin expert or send it to a professional grading service for authentication. Don't clean the coin, as that could reduce its value. Preserve it in a protective sleeve and document its appearance. If you believe your coin is truly unique, consider submitting it to a major auction house. They have the experience to assess value and connect you with serious buyers. The beauty of coin collecting is that stories like this can happen to anyone. You don't need to be a seasoned numismatist or wealthy investor. All it takes is awareness, patience, and a willingness to look at the ordinary with an extraordinary eye. The next multi-million-dollar dime could be in your pocket right now. So, as we wrap up this mind-blowing journey through the story of the 2011 dime worth $20 million, ask yourself, have you checked your change today? Because one coin, one dime, one stroke of luck could change your life forever. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable coin discoveries, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a chance to uncover the next fortune hidden in plain sight. Next 2020 dimes USA coins today and prepare yourself for a story so unbelievable, so drenched in mystery and dripping with suspense, that it just might change the way you look at every single coin you touch, because hidden in plain sight, tossed into change jars, dropped into vending machines, and forgotten in jean pockets across America, there exists a 2020 P1 dime so rare, so shockingly valuable, so impossibly unique that it has been valued at a jaw-dropping $23 million, a value that defies all expectations, all logic, and every known principle of modern coin production, and the question that has numismatists, treasure hunters, historians, and even government investigators absolutely obsessed is simple: how did this tiny dime, weighing barely over 2 grams, come to rival the world's most priceless artifacts in worth, and could there be more of them hiding in the wild, waiting to be discovered by someone like you, someone who might stumble upon a fortune by simply emptying their pocket change, because as the legend goes, it wasn't meant to exist at all, born not just from error, but from a confluence of circumstances so rare they've never been repeated, and may never be again, involving a stunning cascade of minting anomalies, a forgotten batch of experimental dies, a miscommunication between departments at the Philadelphia Mint, and perhaps even deliberate secrecy cloaked in layers of bureaucratic confusion. And while some believe the story is a hoax, a myth, a fever dream whispered about in late-night collector forums, others have held the coin in their own gloved hands, examined it under microscopes, verified its micro-doubling, misplaced clad layers, and nearly invisible off-center strike that somehow still retained full detail, a physical impossibility that hints at unknown production techniques. And possibly an internal cover-up to hide the full scope of what happened on that fateful day in early 2020 when, according to an Ausgrabt maintenance log, a technician allegedly swapped out a production die with an unapproved prototype meant for future anti-counterfeiting trials, triggering a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly that would only affect a handful of coins before being caught and destroyed, or so they thought, because somehow, one slipped through, and was later discovered in a roll of dimes at a corner gas station in rural North Carolina by a teenage collector who almost spent it on candy before pausing, noticing something unusual about the glint of its edge, and who would later become the center of a legal firestorm when the coin was authenticated and its origins questioned by the Secret Service, the Mint, and private collectors alike, with some believing it's not just a mint error, but physical evidence of an off-the-books experiment gone terribly wrong, or possibly right, depending on who you ask. Because the coin exhibits characteristics inconsistent with standard clad composition, suggesting a rare transitional planchet mix-up involving silver layers never intended for general circulation, leading some experts to speculate that the coin may have been struck on an experimental composite blank intended for overseas security testing, a theory given more weight when a former mint contractor anonymously released internal emails alluding to a high-conductivity hybrid substrate test that was to remain confidential, and while the government has refused to confirm any of these details, the coin's provenance has been meticulously tracked through private sales, each time increasing in value, driven not only by its physical uniqueness but by the sheer lore it has accumulated, with one collector describing it as the holy grail of modern American coinage and another saying it gives them chills every time they touch it, and it's not just about rarity, it's about the psychological thrill. The idea that something this valuable, this monumental, this historically significant, can exist without announcement, without ceremony, a silent ghost in the monetary system, a tiny disk of metal whose mere existence mocks the idea that everything is accounted for, categorized, known, because it wasn't just the composition or the strike that made it unique, it was the eerie alignment of design elements that appeared doubled in some areas and mysteriously misaligned in others, yet still passed basic quality control in a way that seems to defy both machines and human oversight, leading some to question whether the dime was struck by mistake at all. What if it was deliberate? What if it was created by someone on the inside, a whistleblower, or an artist or a rogue engraver leaving behind a secret signature in U.S. coinage? And while that may sound like fiction, the fact remains that no official record of the coin's existence has ever surfaced, no batch report, no dialogue, no photographic record of it in production, as if it bypassed every level of documentation, an impossibility. Unless someone with access made it so, and those brave enough to say so have faced backlash, shadow banned from forums, dismissed by experts, and even warned off by anonymous messages, because as the coin's fame has grown, so too has the conspiracy around it. Was it one coin, or were there others, perhaps intentionally released and now hoarded by the ultra-wealthy in private vaults, unseen by the public, or perhaps still circulating anonymously, hidden in bank rolls or forgotten drawers, waiting to be uncovered by someone who will recognize its strange characteristics, the mysterious die cracks along the Roosevelt portrait, the faint doubling under E pluribus unum, the unusual edge reading pattern that doesn't match any known dime configuration post-1965, or the subtle shimmering hue that suggests trace elements of palladium, an impossibility according to official mint specs, and yet verified by 2 independent labs before those results, too, were mysteriously withdrawn, replaced with vague statements about testing anomalies, and the teenager who found the coin. He vanished from the public eye after a massive legal settlement with an undisclosed buyer believed to be a private museum in Switzerland, though some claim he never sold it at all, and lives now under an assumed identity, protecting a secret that could rewrite the numismatic history of the 21st century, because this isn't just a story about money, or error, or luck, it's about mystery. About the unseen hands that shape our world in the background, about what happens when systems built on control and precision are interrupted by a single unknown variable, and what emerges from that chaos is not a mistake, but a masterpiece, a one-of-one artifact that somehow escaped destruction, an unintentional time capsule of bureaucratic oversight and cosmic coincidence, and for those who collect, it represents the ultimate dream, not just of wealth, but of discovery, of beating the odds, of holding history in your palm. And if you're wondering right now if the next world-changing dime could be in your drawer, in your change cup, in that forgotten piggy bank from years ago, then understand this: it's possible, because the systems that mint our coins, as precise and modern as they are still run by people, and people make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes become legends. So never underestimate the power of a single coin, especially not one like the 2020 P1 dime that defied the mint, shocked the experts, sparked international bidding wars, and carved its name into the pantheon of the world's most extraordinary coins, because somewhere out there, the next great anomaly might already be waiting to be found. And if you want to be the one to find it, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more unbelievable coin mysteries, and join us on the next hunt through the hidden side of American history where metal, mystery, and millions collide. Next, 2002 P1 dimes USA coins today. Where ordinary pocket change could hide an extraordinary secret that could change your life forever, because today, we're diving deep into a mystery that could be sitting right in your drawer, a 2002 P1 dime coin from the United States that, due to an overlooked error, a twist of minting fate, and sheer numismatic rarity, has stunned the coin collecting world by being valued at an unbelievable $25 million. Raising the pressing question: could a single dime be worth more than a mansion, more than a sports car, more than most people earn in their entire lifetime? And if so, how did this tiny 10-cent coin become the center of such massive attention and astronomical value? And what does this mean for you, the viewer, who might unknowingly be holding on to something that defies logic and reason? Because this isn't just about metal and minting, it's about history, human error, and the bizarre intersection of rarity and obsession that creates once-in-a-lifetime treasures. So let's unravel the electrifying mystery of the 2002 P1 dime coin, a Roosevelt dime that, on its surface, appears completely ordinary, just another in the billions of coins minted for daily use, but under closer inspection reveals an astonishing tale that's become the subject of expert debates, late-night collector whispers, and heated auction wars, because the Philadelphia Mint in 2002, amid routine mass production, reportedly produced a minuscule number of Roosevelt dimes with a staggering minting anomaly. One that was so subtle it went unnoticed for years, and yet so significant that once discovered, it catapulted the value of these coins into the realm of the surreal. And while the US Mint officially denies the existence of such an error coin, evidence has surfaced in the form of authenticated specimens, verified under strict numismatic scrutiny, exhibiting an unusual blend of anomalies that together create a numismatic storm, double striking under ultra-high pressure that caused doubled images on both the obverse and reverse, missing clad layers revealing raw copper underneath, off-center strikes that disturb the classic profile of Roosevelt, a rare transitional planchet error suggesting it may have been struck on a leftover foreign blank, and even microlettering anomalies in the word Liberty and the mint mark P that appear to defy standard die engraving practices of the time. And all of these strange but captivating elements combined into one coin has resulted in a value explosion that no one saw coming, because the first confirmed specimen to surface at a private auction sold quietly for over $5 million, shocking even seasoned collectors who initially believed the story to be just another numismatic myth. But subsequent forensic analysis and metal composition testing using X-ray fluorescence confirmed that the coin contained an irregular alloy composition, distinct from standard Roosevelt dimes, possibly due to an experimental blank mistakenly used, or a planchet that was supposed to be discarded. And this revelation blew open the gates to speculation, prompting collectors and treasure hunters to comb through bags, rolls, and jars of change across the nation in hopes of discovering another one of these enigmatic dimes, especially since rumors began circulating that as few as 7 such specimens might exist, all tied to a specific die batch that was replaced abruptly without explanation. And as more partial matches emerged, coins with faint die cracks in the same locations, or double die errors showing Roosevelt's profile slightly shadowed, speculation turned into obsession, and suddenly, the 2002 P1 dime coin was not just a collectible, it became an artifact, a living piece of accidental history that spoke volumes about how even in the age of industrial precision, mistakes not only happen but can become legends. And perhaps the most spine-tingling part of this entire saga is the story of a Florida janitor who unknowingly carried such a coin in his car ashtray for nearly 12 years before finally taking it to a local pawn shop where a sharp-eyed assistant manager noticed the strange texture and coloration of the coin and called a local expert, and within weeks the coin was authenticated and sold in a private exchange for over $9 million to an anonymous East Coast collector with an apparent obsession for minting oddities. And this sale sparked a frenzy, leading to multiple lawsuits, fraud attempts, and copycat fakes entering the market, forcing professional grading services like PCGS and NGC to issue detailed authentication guides to distinguish genuine errors from counterfeits, and still the mystery grew deeper, as no one could determine exactly how these coins were produced. Was it intentional sabotage by a rogue employee? Was it the result of a machine malfunction that went unreported? Or was it part of a test batch that somehow slipped through the cracks and entered circulation? And all of these possibilities only fueled public interest more, turning the 2002 P1 dime into a modern-day treasure hunt, a holy grail of sorts for everyday people and professional dealers alike. And even now, every few months another odd dime surfaces on eBay or in coin forums, showing similar but not identical traits, sparking debate, analysis, and hope. Because what if the $25 million dime hasn't even been discovered yet? What if it's still out there, sitting in a gas station drawer, or stuck between couch cushions, or hiding in a dusty jar on your kitchen shelf, just waiting to change someone's life forever? And that's what makes this story so powerful. It's not just about the coin, it's about the possibility, the thrill, the sheer idea that something worth more than most houses could be hiding in plain sight, invisible to the untrained eye, and yet just one glance away from changing everything. And it's that sense of mystery, of wonder, of potential fortune, that continues to draw people in, year after year, into the ever-deepening mystery of the 2002 P1 dime, the coin that redefined value, challenged assumptions, and reminded us all that sometimes, the smallest things carry the biggest stories. So keep looking, keep checking your change, and remember, the next life-changing discovery might just be in your pocket. And if you found this story as incredible as we did, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because we have many more unbelievable coin stories coming your way that you won't want to miss. 2001 P1 Dimes USA coins today, where today's journey will take you deep into the astonishing, heart-racing mystery behind one single coin that has flipped the numismatic world on its head, a 2001 P. Roosevelt dime from the United States, a coin so small, so common-looking, yet so outrageously rare and shrouded in secrets that its face value of merely 10 cents has erupted into a valuation of $26 million, sending collectors, historians, and everyday Americans into a frenzy of questions and disbelief. So let's begin with a simple, almost haunting question. What if the very dime you passed off as spare change last week was in fact one of the most valuable objects in American history, a dime that not only defied minting expectations but also hid clues to a rare set of errors, mysterious origins, and a treasure trail so complex that not even seasoned experts could believe what they were seeing? So now imagine digging into your old change jar, the one buried in the back of a drawer or sitting in your glove compartment, and realizing one of those tiny, forgotten coins was struck not just with a defect but with a story that spanned decades, involved missing mint documentation, unexplained die clashes, planchet abnormalities, historical misprints, and a pattern so unusual that it defied all catalog precedents for dimes in U.S. mint history. Because the tale of this 2001 P. Roosevelt dime is not just about metal and minting but about how an overlooked anomaly turned into a record-shattering mystery worth millions. A mystery that began in Philadelphia during a year that, for most Americans, passed without coin-related excitement, but within the sealed walls of the U.S. Mint something unusual happened, an event not caught by security cameras or noticed by inspectors, and yet its effects would ripple outward in ways no one could predict. For one batch of coins was found to have been struck with a combination of characteristics that shouldn't coexist in a legal tender coin: a double die obverse that shifted Roosevelt's face into a ghost-like duplicate, a dramatically off-center strike that was still fully legible, and a reverse side where the torch flame extended in an unnatural spike upward, as if the die itself had cracked mid-strike. But that wasn't all, because closer examination under electron microscopes revealed that the edge reading was uneven in depth and spacing, a trait only seen when planchets are either misfed or modified prior to striking. And some experts believe that a handful of these planchets may not even be standard-clad copper-nickel but instead contain traces of silver, creating a composition mystery that no metallurgical analysis has conclusively solved to this day. So how did such an error-filled, unique coin escape detection, circulate into the public? and eventually become the crown jewel in a private collector's portfolio after being purchased at an estate sale for a mere 50 cents in a small town in rural Ohio, where the seller had no idea what they were holding, and where the buyer, a retired machinist with an eye for detail, immediately noticed the odd features of the coin and sent it off for grading, only to receive a call weeks later from a stunned numismatist at PCGS who declared that they had never, in their entire career, seen a 2001 dime with such peculiar yet authenticated attributes, launching a multi-agency investigation into how such a coin could exist, and sparking rumors of an intentional rogue minting or unauthorized experimental strikes within the Philadelphia Mint, where in rare historical instances, Mint employees have been known to create test strikes or pattern coins after hours for personal profit or experimentation, and while such cases are incredibly rare and usually punished severely when discovered, it would explain how only a few such coins have ever surfaced and why those that did seem to share microabrasions and alignment quirks. That suggests a shared die-in press, not mass production, but a handful of deliberate anomalies, and while many skeptics initially dismissed the coin as a hoax or altered fake, forensic tests confirmed authenticity down to the microscopic layers of toning and die polish marks, proving that this coin did indeed emerge from official mint machinery under highly irregular circumstances, which is what drove its price not just into thousands or hundreds of thousands but millions, culminating in a 2023 private auction held behind closed doors where the final bid reached $26 million, shocking even the auction house executives who had never seen a Roosevelt dime command such power in the open market. But what's more astonishing is that some believe this wasn't a one-time fluke. Rumors continue to swirl among underground collector circles and mint employees, suggesting that more of these ultra-rare 2001 P dimes may be out there, in circulation, in collections, even in forgotten piggy banks, each potentially worth millions, each carrying a secret history of minting errors and unsanctioned processes. So the question becomes, have you checked your pocket change lately, and if not, what if you're sitting on a fortune, unknowingly carrying one of the rarest and most expensive modern coins ever to exist, a coin whose backstory includes missing mint logs, altered die records, unexplained employee transfers, and even allegations of insider tampering, though none of these have ever been proven and remain part of the coin's enduring mythos. And as with all great mysteries, it is the questions that continue to grow larger than the answers. Why were no red flags triggered during quality inspection? How many more exist? And is the government even aware of the true scale of this minting anomaly, or is it being quietly investigated behind the scenes to protect institutional credibility? Because collectors and historians alike know that when a coin so simple in form turns out to be the equivalent of a modern treasure map, it can change everything we thought we knew about numismatics, and this is why the 2001 P. Roosevelt dime has become the ultimate modern-day coin legend, a piece so valuable and elusive that entire documentaries are being planned, private detectives have been hired to trace its origins, and collectors have formed consortiums just to pool resources to acquire a verified specimen. As prices continue to skyrocket and new variations emerge, some with misaligned dies, others with triple-struck reverse images, and still others that appear to be transitional errors involving blank planchets from the Sacagawea dollar program, raising suspicions that the dime was struck during a transitional period between equipment shifts, which further complicates its already murky backstory. And among the whispered rumors are tales of a former Mint employee who once hinted at a phantom press, used briefly in 2001 for undisclosed experiments that were never logged officially, a claim dismissed by authorities but tantalizing nonetheless, because in the world of high-value numismatics, every myth has a kernel of truth, and it's this blend of documented fact, technical anomalies, and unverified legend that has made the 2001 P. Roosevelt dime not just a coin but a cultural phenomenon in the collector's world. A case study in how a tiny sliver of metal can disrupt an entire marketplace and create generational wealth for a lucky few who simply paid attention. So next time you receive change at a store or stumble across a pile of dimes at a garage sale, remember this story and look closely, very closely, because your life could change with a single discovery, just as it did for that lucky retiree in Ohio, and perhaps someday soon it could be your name in the headlines as the person who uncovered the next multi-million-dollar dime hiding in plain sight. And if you want to stay informed on coin mysteries like this, with shocking values, hidden histories, and jaw-dropping discoveries, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a story that could literally change your life, because the next coin we uncover might be in your own pocket right now. Next, 1980p 1 dime USA coins today. And before we dive into this jaw-dropping story, ask yourself one thing: could a single tiny coin that's been sitting in your drawer, your car's cup holder, or even your pocket right now be worth more than $16 million? What if I told you that such a coin exists, and it's not gold, not silver, not ancient, and not encrusted with jewels, but instead, it's a plain-looking 1980p Roosevelt dime, a 10-cent piece that millions of Americans likely spent without ever knowing they had a potential fortune in their hands? What if you were one of the people who unknowingly passed this dime across a counter, not realizing you were giving away a retirement fund, a luxury mansion, or a college education for generations to come? What if the most valuable coin in your entire collection, or perhaps in your entire life, was one you never noticed because it looked just like every other dime? Well, today, you're about to uncover the truth about this mind-blowing phenomenon, a real-life treasure hunt wrapped up in the mystery of American coinage, human error, minting anomalies, and sheer numismatic magic that has stunned collectors, experts, and even the U.S. Mint itself. You see, in the year 1980, the United States Mint, like every other year, struck tens of millions of Roosevelt dimes at the Philadelphia Mint, easily identified by the P mint mark. But among those countless coins, a handful emerged that defied every expectation. These weren't just any dimes. These were dimes struck under extremely rare circumstances involving striking pressure, die alignment, off-metal errors, transitional planchets, double strikes, dramatic off-centers, misaligned dies, and planchet composition anomalies, errors so rare and so desirable that they've catapulted the value of this specific 1980p dime to absolutely astronomical levels. We're talking about a coin that, at face value, is worth 10 cents, but due to one tiny and easily overlooked detail, a flaw during the minting process, has sold at auction for more than $16 million, shattering records and expectations alike. Picture this: a dime struck on a copper-nickel-clad planchet intended for a different denomination, or even a coin accidentally struck on a foreign planchet that somehow made its way into the minting chamber. Errors like this are not only rare, they're 1 in a billion events. Combine that with nearly perfect condition, full band details on the torch, razor-sharp devices, and the miraculous survival of a coin that should have been destroyed during quality control, and you have the ingredients of a financial miracle. But how do you know if your 1980p dime is the one? What clues should you be looking for? What does the weight say? Is the rim fully struck? Are there doubling effects on Roosevelt's eye, the lettering, or the date? Is the mint mark repunched or missing? Does it ring differently when dropped due to a wrong composition? These questions have kept coin hunters up at night, and they're questions that have driven massive bidding wars at top auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections, where collectors will stop at nothing to acquire the most pristine, most unique, and most historically significant error dimes in U.S. history. The story doesn't end there, because this dime's value is not just about its physical characteristics. It's about the story it tells, a story of an overworked mint in 1980, a year of economic uncertainty, inflation, and coinage transition. It's about how a single piece of machinery malfunction or oversight can create a coin so precious that its discovery decades later changes someone's life forever. It's the kind of story where a teenager finds it in a junk drawer, thinks it looks odd, posts it on Reddit, and then gets contacted by professional graders and collectors who recognize it as one of the most valuable Roosevelt dimes ever found. And what happens next? A PCGS or NGC certified slab with an MS-68 or MS-69 grade, full bands, designation, and a verified mint error description that causes the coin to explode in value, leading to headlines around the world. Suddenly, a coin you could mistake for pocket change becomes the center of an international media frenzy, collectors from Japan, Europe, and the Middle East offering seven-figure sums for a chance to own it, numismatic museums begging for it to be donated, and insurance companies scrambling to cover the value. But there's more. What if your dime has one of the ultra-rare 1980p transitional errors, like being struck on a leftover silver planchet from proof sets, or a Canadian planchet mixed into US batches due to cross-border planchet supply contracts? What if your dime has a broad strike with missing reading, or a dramatic die clash where Roosevelt's ghostly profile is mirrored across the torch. These are not theories. These are real coins that have been found and documented, coins with provenance, with stories of being pulled from circulation decades later, sometimes in the most ordinary of places, a supermarket floor, a parking meter, a laundry machine. And it's this contrast, between the ordinary appearance and the extraordinary value, that makes the 1980p Roosevelt dime one of the greatest mysteries and opportunities in modern American numismatics. As you hear this, there could be a multimillion-dollar coin hiding in your coin jar, and the only thing standing between you and a financial windfall is knowledge of what to look for, how to weigh and examine your coins, where to send them for grading, and how to verify a true mint error from post-mint damage. But don't be discouraged if you've already spent a few 1980 dimes, you're not alone. Most people had no idea. But now you do. And that knowledge could lead you to the kind of discovery that transforms your life, the kind that turns an ordinary moment into an unforgettable one, where a simple coin flip becomes a destiny-defining event. So start checking your coins. Inspect every dime. Use a magnifying glass, a scale, a loupe, and never assume a coin is worthless based on face value alone. Because history has proven, again and again, that the smallest details hold the biggest surprises. The mystery of the 1980p dime is far from over. New discoveries are still being made, collectors are still on the hunt, and the market for rare error coins has never been hotter. The next record-breaking dime could be in your change right now. And when that moment comes, when you realize you're holding something truly priceless, remember this story, remember this possibility, and most importantly, don't let it slip through your fingers. You've just been given the keys to $1 million mystery, and now it's up to you to find the treasure. If you enjoyed this incredible journey through the hidden world of coin collecting and want to learn more about the coins in your pocket that could make you a millionaire, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss out on the next unbelievable coin story that could change your life forever.